My mother's name was Anna, or as we say in the Czech Republic, Anna. Very close. Probably could have figured that out. She was born in Bulgaria, actually. Immigrated to the Czech Republic after the Second World War with her family. She was very young at the time. Met my dad there, fell in love, and got married, etc. My mother was the quintessential good girl. She never did anything wrong. She worried about hurting anyone's feelings, upsetting the apple cart. When she grew up, her parents had a little hobby farm, and there was my mom pretty much every weekend pitching in, helping out while her older sister was out chasing the boys. Even after she got married, you know, she still went. She had 2 kids, and she'd still go down and take the time to be the good girl. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. She was very quick to laugh, but also very quick to cry. And the crying would be usually for other people's misfortunes. Her heart was so full of empathy for others. She made dentures, which was something that's a little bit unusual, and she loved it. She absolutely loved it. You know, something that reach into other people's mouths, no thank you very much, but she loved it. And she was an artist. So she would ask the patient to come in and bring a picture of them from 20 or 30 years ago when they thought they had the best smile. And she worked hard to reproduce it. She'd choose the right teeth and just put them right together, and nothing made her happy. Then they said, oh my God, this is what I used to look like. It just made her super, super happy. She vitamins. She was into healthy living. She wasn't skinny, let's face it, but she was into healthy living. She put up with my dad for 44 years. That's something. The only thing I think she did that was she allowed herself a little bit of imperfection is she would make desserts. She was a good cook. Dessert, though, somehow eluded her all of her life. She'd find something in a magazine. I don't know if you all remember magazines. Remember those things we used to have? And she'd find something in a magazine, and she would, try to reproduce it. And it would taste good, but it didn't look like the magazine, let me say that. So that was my mom in a nutshell. So when she got diagnosed with stage 4 cancer at age 64, it was a shock. Total shock. It's a shock for anybody who looks forward to that, right? But with her, I think for the next 6 months of doctor's appointments and treatments and hospitals in and out, ambulance rides, etc., I think she stayed deeply rooted in shock. She completely disassociated. And you could even see the banner over her head, right? Why me? What the heck did I do? Right? I've done nothing but be the good girl all my life. I tried to be as good as I could. How could this happen to me? So my mom passed away in March 15, 2003. By then, I had moved from Ottawa to London to help out, to be there. And London wasn't really foreign to me. So I had grown up in St. Thomas, which is 20 kilometers from London. That was my hometown. I went to Western. I don't know if any Western grads here. There, anybody? Yeah. No? It's got to be somebody out there. I'd gone to Western. At Western, I'd made some friends. You know those friends that you make at that age that remain your friends all your life? You don't see them for years. And then you see them and you just pick up where you were as if it was mid-sentence. You just keep going. That's the kinds of friends that I made, a few of them. And a group of them were at a place, an apartment on Kipps Lane. And Kipps Lane, we had an apartment that probably had some other people but students, but I remember the other people because everybody I seemed to find there were students. And we had some great friends that lived across the hall and friends on the 7th floor and other friends, etc. And it was just almost like we were in residence, except we were in an apartment. And, hopefully we kept it clean. I really can't remember anymore. And just as after my mom passed away, I was sitting thinking, trying to figure out, well, what the heck do I do with my life now? Where do I move? What's my next move? I don't have roots in this town beyond having been here before. I'd lived in Ottawa for 17 years. When one of my Kipps Lane buddies, Brad Seaman, contacted me. And he said, hey, I'm trying to get the Kipps Lane gang back together. Could we do a reunion at my cottage? So I thought, well, what a great idea, what a good thing to do. So off we went. Now, a little bit about Brad. He had moved to Barrie. He was married. He'd been here for 7 years, 2 children, Max and Madison. And even as we were going up to the cottage, and as he told me that he was recently separated, in the back of my mind, I did not have the thought that there is something here beyond a friendship. I hadn't seen the man in 14 years, right? We had been friends from 25 years ago. I mean, it just didn't compute for me that this was something different. So the first night we get up there, you can just imagine, right? We've had a few drinks. We're doing a little bit of dancing, got the music going. We're reminiscing like crazy, the belly laughs, those kind of things you remember. Remember when, and nobody else in the room would have thought it was funny whatsoever, but you're just on the floor laughing, right? The thing was, it was just the two of us. He said nobody else could make it. Now, I tried to get him to commit, but as far as he says, oh, no, I really did invite those other people. So we had a lovely time. We were turning in, and Brad was off to bed. Don't get ahead of me on this, okay? He was off to bed, and as I watched him walk away, I realized something in that evening had changed for me on the inside. He had gone from being a friend to, I think I have feelings for this guy. What the heck? Where'd this come from? I was not expecting that. Sure enough, the weekend turned into 5 days. I drove back to London. We went back and forth a couple of times. And 4 months later, I'm in Barrie. So 2004, I'm in Barrie. Now, the first couple that I met when I moved to Barrie, the first couple that Brad trusted me and wanted me to meet as soon as he could were Sue and Lee. And Sue and Lee became our dear friends, my dear friends, right from the get-go. And they always embraced me and treated me just like good friends from the get-go. There was never that lag at all. And of course, over time, I met others, et cetera, made some friends and community. Of course, I gained kids. Like I didn't have any of my own biological kids, and I gained 2 step-kids. So I have Maddie, who's 26, and Max, who's 28, and really all I did was just come along for the ride, and there they were, right? So now I have kids. This is great. I mean, for those of you that have been through the tough stuff, or I did go through the teenage years. There was a little bit of that, but beyond that, it's all been pretty smooth sailing. And I've loved it here. I really have. We just recently bought a cottage up on Barrie Island. And you'll laugh because 2 of our Kips Lane friends also have a cottage on Barrie Island. So it's all coming back around, and that the friendship is still there, and the friends are still there, which is fantastic. So I'm really enjoying Barrie. Brad and I are going to celebrate our 16th anniversary next month, 16 years. Mm-hmm. Yep. I think you should be thanking me, right, honey? But we still sometimes can't believe it. Like we'll look at each other and we'll go, "It's you," because it's still in our mind. We were these friends from way back, and now we're here, just a little bit more than friends, right? So that's cool. That's cool. A few years ago, there was a book called "When Bad Things Happen to Good People." Anybody know this one? Harold Kushner, right? Yeah. And a real synopsis of that is, they just bloody do, right? There really wasn't an answer. They just do, okay? And so we know life is bittersweet. We know that, right? What I've picked up is that there's a lot more for me in the sweet. I really drink it in. I really wallow in it, if you will. I don't turn down a reason to go with a friend. I don't turn down a reason to go to a little party. I don't turn away from all that, because those are the memories that keep you through the bitters, and the bitters will come, right? The bitters will come. Now, I like to think my mother's up there cheering for me, and in Canada you say cross your fingers. In Czech, Rose makes Brad laugh. In Czech, we go hold your thumbs. I don't know why, but hold your thumbs. So she's up there holding her thumbs, and she's saying, "All right, honey, you know what? You don't have to be perfect. You don't always have to be the good girl. But as long as, right, you have friends, you have love, You have neighbors. You thought I forgot about you, Nancy, didn't you? And you have community. It just makes it all get throughable. So thank you.